Are you a baseball player looking to either hit the ball further or just are you a baseball player looking to improve your performance? The conjugate method might be a good fit for you.
Get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
So I was given this question, how would you train baseball players within a conjugate system, West Side barbell, like that type of thing? How would you adapt that system towards baseball players, whether it's a outfielder, whether it's a pitcher, whether it's strictly a hitter? How would you go about that? And I thought about it. I wrote some stuff out and we'll just go from there. So number one, misconception. I've talked about this in many videos where I talk about adapting the conjugate method to any population of people, is that the conjugate method is not exclusive to powerlifters. Yes, most people are exposed to what they think is the conjugate method via Louis Simmons and West Side Barbell, but that is the adaptation for powerlifters. You can adapt that for any population. Any athlete you can think of can benefit from the conjugate method. It's not an example of exercise selection. It's more an example of how you organize your training. So you could put any exercises into the conjugate method and the athlete will be successful with it. So you can easily use the conjugate method to develop the qualities that make a successful baseball player, which would allow them to throw harder, run faster, and hit the ball harder. And most importantly, develop the muscles that would help them stay injury-free. So for those of you that might be unfamiliar with the conjugate method, basically it has 3 facets. Maximum strength work, so your heavy stuff. Dynamic work, which is moving lighter weights as fast as possible. And then hypertrophy work, which can be literally anything. Whatever are your most important muscles and the muscles that are going to make you stay injury-free, those will become a focus. And it's also going to be the muscles that are weakest or that you don't want weak. So you want to have no weak links in the chain. So why would you install this program for baseball athletes? Number one, you're going to want to increase their rotational power. So the muscles that are involved in the lower body that transfer into the core that then help them swing the ball or throw the ball, swing the bat or throw the ball harder. Then there's going to be explosive strength. So anytime if you've ever been to a baseball game or see it on TV, you'll notice as soon as the ball is hit, as soon as anything happens, a baseball player has to react accordingly. Whether it's a lateral sprint to the side, a sprint forward, a sprint backwards, just depending on where the ball is on the field. Then there's joint resiliency. You have to strengthen your tendons, your ligaments, and all of this can be done through strength training. And what's beautiful about this, let's pretend you have a room full of baseball players. You can have them working on the same day. Let's say it's an upper body day or a lower body day, but you can easily customize the program so that your pitchers are doing one thing, your outfielders are doing something else, and let's say you have designated hitters or guys that mainly hit, focusing on things like that. So now we have the 3 facets, and I'm just going to go through why this would apply to baseball players. So let's start off with max effort work. So stronger legs are going to carry over to faster sprints and being able to generate more force into the ground. A stronger upper body is going to have the potential for faster throws and more bat speed. Now, when I say stronger legs, I don't mean you have to get a powerlifting style strong. If you have an athlete who can squat 2 plates, and then over time they are able to squat 3 plates while maintaining their speed and their athleticism, they're going to be a better athlete. It's only once you start taking away from the sport-specific training and the sport-specific skills at the expense of added strength, then that's where there's going to be problems. So as long as you can balance the two and just remember that, hey, we're not trying to turn these guys into powerlifters, we're trying to use strength and hypertrophy and all that stuff to get them better at baseball, you will have no problem implementing this. So some examples for a max effort day. You might have a athlete do a box squat for 3 singles at around like 90% of their 1 rep max. You might have a trap bar deadlift, and I'm going to suggest the trap bar a little bit just because of it's less technical. Some people could debate me on that, and truthfully, I don't give a shit. I think it's less technical. I could teach someone how to trap bar deadlift in literally 1 session, and it carries over forward. Deadlifts, there's a lot more cues involved in that. And you could even do a Bulgarian split squat. Sure, the amount of weight you're going to move is not going to be as high, but it's definitely applicable because athletes need to be strong on one leg. So why not prioritize that and put it first in the beginning of your program and then do some accessory work afterwards. Some exercises for max effort upper body days. You might have an incline bench press just because it's a little bit more, I want to say sport specific because of the angle, but there's nothing wrong with a flat bench press. One might argue it's a little bit more shoulder friendly just because of the movement of the bar, but you're going to have to play that by ear depending on if you are a baseball player or the athlete you're coaching is a baseball player. Then there's a floor press, which if the athlete you want to take stress off the shoulder. I don't suggest this all the time. If there is shoulder issues, you should definitely highlight those first, but to like overload the pressing, floor press could be a great idea to just not always go through the full range of motion. So it's like an exercise you can plug in and keep it as like almost like a little bit of a break. Then there's weighted chin-ups, and this is money for athletes, any athlete whatsoever. You can use this as a max effort exercise or a heavy exercise in order to increase the pulling strength. And a bigger back will give you a bigger foundation or stronger back, I should say, bigger and stronger, will give you a stronger foundation for harder throws and harder hits if you're a hitter. So now we have dynamic effort. And this is also key for all athletes. It's not good to just have grinding strength, which is good, but you want to be able to, when a weight is light, to let it fly. So like a baseball. You can have a heavy ball and throw it. That's no good. You need to make that little ball fly when you're throwing it. So explosive movements are going to mimic fast twitch demands of baseball, essentially. So this trains athletes to generate force rapidly, and then it's going to improve the sprint speed and the bat speed. So this exercise, it really doesn't matter your choice here. Speed box squats are good because it allows you to relax on the box and explode up, because in baseball, you are going from a static to a dynamic position as soon as something happens. You could even do pin squats, trap bar deadlifts, or you could even jump with it at the top if you wish. It really doesn't matter, even just a normal trap bar jump. A sumo deadlift would kind of be good, although that's kind of getting more on the technical side. So it's good you're putting it on dynamic day just for the fact that it's lighter and athletes don't need to know how to grind with it. But a sumo deadlift is good for all athletes, in my opinion. It helps develop the hips a lot. And then you could even have some sled sprints where you just 10 to 15 yards, push a prowler, pull a sled, stuff like that, but at an explosive rate, not for like general conditioning. Then the upper body, you can have speed bench press with bands, 8 sets of 3, 9 sets of 3, somewhere around there, just pushing it really fast off your chest. I've looked into some landmine university stuff, and this is going to be money for baseball players. You can do landmine cleans, you can do landmine snatches, you can even do just a standard landmine push press or just a landmine jerk, landmine press. Those are good because it really has emphasis on the rotational component of your core. And I honestly, other than tennis and baseball, I can't think of a sport that relies more on rotation than baseball. And then you could even have some plyometric push-ups, some medicine ball throws, things along those lines. So repetition effort. This is going to be like your hypertrophy stuff. So what's good about this, you do high reps. This helps with muscular endurance. 9 innings is a long time to play. I've never really played competitive baseball, so I don't know how sore you get after that, but I do know baseball players play a lot of games. So muscle endurance is something that needs to be up there. And then you're going to strengthen your smaller stabilizing muscles to prevent injury. So some of the best repetition exercises I can think of for baseball players would be face pulls, scarecrows, anything where you're building up external rotation and just to build up the backside of your body, just because everything's happening in front of you. So you definitely want to balance that out. I would say reverse lunges would be a good choice. A lunge of any choice, because in baseball you are accelerating and decelerating, which you're doing in any sport, to be honest. But a reverse lunge going backwards and going forward, that can be a very good exercise to strengthen the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes in a sport-specific fashion. So how would I structure some days? I would say you can have something as simple as, if you really want to be simple with just the bulk of your exercise, I would say like a max effort day, you work up to 3 singles at 90% of, let's say, incline bench. You pick your athlete's favorite angle of what would favor their body structure. Then some weighted chin-ups, 3 sets of 5, 5 sets of 5, maybe building up to a top set. You could have some dumbbell rows in there and finish off with some face pulls. That's a very bare bones without getting too niche, because I don't know the athlete. It's a very general workout, I would say. Throw some core in there at the end. A dynamic effort lower body, I would say some speed box squats, 8 sets of 3, anywhere from 50 to 60%. You can add bands, you can add chains if you want. Then I would do some sled sprints, whether it's laterally, forward, backward, or you can do all 3. You can rotate between all 3. And then you could end off with some Bulgarian split squats, maybe 3 sets of 6 to 10, anywhere around there. And some glute ham raises, Nordic curls, something for the hamstrings, some single leg RDLs. You never want to make sure you have like a hamstring pull, so make sure those hamstrings are up to strength and can handle the demand that's going to be imposed on them. Then we have our max effort lower body days, things like trap bar deadlifts, 3 sets of 1 at 90%. We have some lunge variations. You can do maybe some Cossack squats from side to side, build up the adductors. So you're basically just going. And then the speed upper body day, you can do the landmine stuff like I said, you can do the speed bench, you can do both. I prefer the landmine stuff over like rotational throws, just because it's a little bit more coordination involved and it's just harder. So harder is always better. But if you want something light, medicine ball rotations can be very good. Plyometric push-ups are good, and then plenty of upper back work on this day. Now, that is great. A 4-day split is great for off-season. But what about when you're in season? I would refer to a 2-day manual where it's like you do upper body max effort and then lower body dynamic effort and then your accessory work, and then the other day would be the opposite where it's max effort up lower body, dynamic effort upper body, and then your accessory work. That's probably going to be good for in season, depending on your schedule. Anywhere from 2 to 4 days is going to be good for most of the year, but you just have to play it by ear, see what your athlete can recover from, and go from there. So just some general guidelines before we end this video. Off-season focus, you're gonna lift heavier, maybe push the strength work a little bit more. There's gonna be slightly more volume because there's no games happening. And I would say you could do 4 full sessions per week. And then when you're in season, there's still going to be strength work, but you're not going to be pushing it. It's more like you're pushing it just high enough to maintain the strength, maybe build it a tiny bit, but your focus is not, hey, let's destroy this 4-plate squat. And then you're going to have more recovery focus sessions where it's like you're getting in just enough work to stimulate and maintain those qualities without pushing yourself over the edge. But I hope this helps with organizing your training towards your baseball athletes, or if you are a baseball athlete. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And as always, class is dismissed.
I try to pick one thought, have some concentration, and if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's